Hey, hello, my friends. It's me again, Steve, otherwise known as Pearl of Wisdom. Well, actually, no, that's just a moniker that I use for my NHL thing, and I put it on this for some reason. I don't know why. But watching my other videos, what I'm doing is I'm learning from what I'm learning, and what we're learning from what my videos. I do the videos and go, and then I listen to the videos and go, oh, okay. I'm trying to, I do some meditation and I come here and I just kind of express what's on my mind about spirituality in itself. I try, honestly, to not put too much thought into it. I want it to be just a flow of expression. And I hope that eventually this gets enough people watching that they express themselves in the comment section and we can have wonderful banter together. One thing that my wife said, she watched and she goes, "Yeah, but it's not you, Steve, because you're more funny. Like you're. It seems like you're taking it too seriously." And it probably is actually. I I think it's because I'm a little bit apprehensive as to what I'm projecting to people, and now I'm just going to stop doing that. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to be me. If it comes out, whatever, it comes out. One thing that I thought I'd talk about today, or at least kind of express the whole idea of spirit to begin with. Uh, what does it mean? We use the term God, source. There's those that look at it from a feminine perspective. Most cultures look at it from a male perspective. It would seem to me that source is non-gender or non or anything. It's just the uh, essence of what we are, spirit, who we are. And so it got me to thinking that, and I actually posted something on my Facebook page. You can go see. It's called the Oneness Spirit Guide. I don't know why. I just called it that. And there, I posted something from a lady who comments down here in the bottom, had commented a couple times on the bottom. And it basically was indicating that we are God. And I think no matter how I try to mentally do acrobatics around this, in some way, shape, or form, it has to be that we are. Um, However, I've come to the realization that it's not talking about God individually. And I think there's some really odd connotations that come with the idea that we are God that stems from many religious practices. That being that there is one entity that looks over all and in many cases appears to be judging us, seeing if we're doing good or not, asking us to pray a certain way, be a certain way, act a certain way, all of those things like that. I speak a lot about Jesus and the teachings that the Bible seems to that references is that I will admit it appears a lot of things have been uh, changed, maybe not really given the exact intent of its purpose. Let's put it that way. Uh, there was a lot of reasons for that. I won't get into the video, but um, it seems to me that Jesus quite often said, and again, like in Islam or whatever, comment on the bottom if this seems to be the case there. I know in Hinduism, there's Buddhism, there's all of these things. Buddhism in itself doesn't really talk about a God, and this is probably why. Um, there's many other spiritual practices that have this idea that we are God, that Jesus would say that we can do everything that he did. He didn't come to claim to be God. He came to claim that we were all sons of the Spirit God. Now, after reading and kind of studying, I suppose, all the different, not all, as many as I know, uh, aspects of this concept, I would say that we are God in the sense that we are all one in the source or spirit as a whole. as a whole entity, as a whole humanity, we are spirit, which you can say is God, I suppose. I veer away from the idea that we are individually gods, probably just simply because of my upbringing or thought process towards this concept that God is the maker of law, the ruler of these are the laws, you have to follow those, or superior, maybe is a better way of putting it. I think the closer we become one, the more we become in realization that we are one, because we are one. Jesus said, I wish them to be one like you and I are one. That's basically, I believe, from my understanding, is in mind, in understanding that we are. That's how we become, or how we realize the oneness that we are is in our mind that we are. In which case, that is God. That is spirit. That is the infinite intelligence. In Science of Mind, it says there is one infinite intelligence, and that infinite intelligence is in all of us, and all of our thoughts are that. All of our ways of thinking and all of our belief systems, everything we create is all one God. So that would include every religious aspect, every religious form that we've come up with, every concept of God, all of that is all part of the one mind. And this one mind is creating the epitome of what we all desire. And I'm not sure, correct, tell me if you are thinking differently in the comment section, that I believe we all desire for all humanity to be in peace and love with one another as a whole entity, as a group, with no war, no crime, no hurt, no pain, no abuse, all of those things like that. If you're in disagreement with that, please let me know. I'd be fascinating to find out why. And this is the eternal desire. See, the spirit being eternal makes us also eternal as well, with no beginning, no end. Since eternal itself does not exist in time. We are living again, this is all from my perspective. So please, if you disagree, I don't want to say it enough. I can't say it enough. I want to know more. I want to learn more. And I can only learn from the other, from people out there, more than I already have. But we are living in an eternal. So this would mean that our time and space is not actually real. It's a creation. It's as real to us, but it's a creation of our minds that we've made for ourselves. So in which case we've made this reality we live in right now. And there's many that would say, and it seems in the scripture I understand, being the Bible, that it seems to say that we've chose this reality for the purpose of our own growth. Now, individually, yes, but also as a whole, as a humanity. It would appear to me that we became apart from the truth of what we desire. We went away from it, stopped believing in the actuality of the goodness of us being one, and wanting to be an individual of the whole. Possibly something of that nature. It appears that somehow along the way, in this eternal consciousness, we fell away from the truth of love. We stopped believing that this love was best, was the epitome, was the real, even though in our deepest desire, or it was even accomplishable, possibly even became bored of it, maybe something like that. There's many. From what I understand, from many cultures, there's many. Of course, the Genesis or the beginnings of the world. There are many stories that sort of overlap each other, but kind of give the same impression that this is what happened. Um, like the one I've studied most is in Genesis. It certainly appears that this, I think, has to be an allegory now, seems to state that we stop believing that the source was for us, that we wanted to go live some sort of independently and learn to be a individual force in the great eternal. Then it says the source, God, what have you, warned us somehow, or maybe something deep inside of us, but realized that this was going to create a lot of difficulties in our life to do it this way. But in the end, we're going to learn more about the oneness that we are. Maybe even grow greater in it through the trials and tribulations and all of these things. And the creating of this reality is going to bring us in a deeper understanding of the oneness of what we all are. I said I was going to have fun with this, didn't I? I am having fun. I'm enjoying it. It's a whole lot of fun. It's great not taking myself seriously. For the most part, I'm growing in understanding as you are. But this concept, this belief system, this reality that I've started to come to a somewhat understanding of, has made it possible for me to forgive just about anyone in my past that has hurt me. Now, I mean, I still may have some work in there, but I'm constantly driving towards it. It's forced me to, it's forced me to is not the right way. It's projected me to be forgiving to everyone, and myself especially, who I needed to be most forgiving to. Like I said, I'm an addict. I mean, I've done my addictions, and my addictions have brought me to lying to the people closest to me, stealing from the people closest to me, harming myself immeasurably, putting other people in danger by driving a vehicle in intoxication being one, for my funds to consistently never reach a point of having more than basically just living, all of those things like that. And as I've grown in this realization, I've been able to break away from those things, break away from the anxieties of financial securities, break away from the anxieties of choices that I make in life, break away from the anxieties of how I feel about myself, or expectations, or all of those things. I've been able to break away from what I once thought was important and find a greater importance in just being and learning and growing in this amazing love that comes from this realization that we are all one. It's fantastic. And still, I wanted to say there's a lot of work to do. I think it's more, there's a lot of living it to create, because I have still have depressing days, and I still get myself caught up in worries and concerns of the things that are around me. I'm still my humanity, and I don't think that's all that bad. I think it's just why we're here. I think it's part of the growth process. So anyways, maybe you can identify with this and maybe help me in the, again, putting in the comment section. Maybe you want to come on with me. I would love that. We can do Skype together. If you would like to talk about anything I'm talking about right now, we can Skype and we can do, I do this for my hockey channel that I do. I Skype with a very good friend of mine. And ever since I've started doing that, there's been a lot of growth in the channel. The difference is there, the growth in the channel is my financial well-being, which is actually stopped because sports have stopped. So I had to go through some anxieties on that because of the coronavirus. But this might be a great time for us to be able to Skype together and enjoy each other's understandings of these concepts and how our understandings have helped us grow together closer to become the oneness that we all know we desire in our hearts. I think I'll finish that for today. Have a great day. Lots of love to you.